terrified virgin meets cowboy at midnight. What his daughter gave her will haunt you forever. The moon hung low, a ghostly orb cloaked in clouds just heavy enough to cast eerie shadows across the dusty road. At that moment, it felt as if the world stood still, breathing in tandem with the tension that hovered in the air. There she was, Claire, a small-town girl with a heart full of dreams and a spirit longing for adventure. But all of that shifted that fateful night. When she heard the distant sound of hoofbeats, a shudder ran down her spine. What could be out there, hidden in the depths of the dark? As she turned to look, a figure emerged, backlit by the moon's ghostly glow, broad-shouldered, rugged, and undeniably attractive. The cowboy's hat obscured his features, but the air around him crackled with an odd energy. It felt unnatural, as if he were something other than human. Claire's heart raced. This was not a meeting found in fairy tales. Something told her this encounter meant trouble. A chill ran through her when he spoke, his voice smooth as silk yet sharp as a knife. "You shouldn't be out here, darlin'." His eyes pierced right through her, and she could barely breathe as fear wrapped around her heart. But what held her captive wasn't just his raw energy, there was something unsettling, a hint of mystery dancing just behind his words. Before they could exchange pleasantries, a shrill scream shattered the stillness, echoing across the open night like glass shattering on a concrete floor. Claire whirled around, pulses racing. In the distance, a figure blurred into the dark, the desperate cries reaching for her. What was happening out there? Then, the cowboy leaned closer. His breath felt warm against her skin, offsetting the chill in the air. "Take this," he whispered, producing a small, tattered object from his pocket. It glinted under the moonlight. A locket? Claire's fingers trembled, hovering just above the strange item. "It holds memories you won't forget," he murmured, but the look in his eyes warned her that this was a promise edged with danger. "Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash the like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect." Claire's heart thrummed in her chest. She felt the weight of the locket pressing against her palm, like a curse waiting to be unleashed. Should she take it? The screams continued, further setting her heart on edge. Her instincts screamed for her to stay away. But something deeper, perhaps fueled by curiosity or the desire to escape her mundane life, compelled her to reach out. As she took the locket, a sense of foreboding washed over her. Would it bring a new beginning or a terrifying end? The cowboy's enigmatic smile faded as if he himself knew the answer, but that secret he carried, he wouldn't share. Then, just when she thought the night couldn't get stranger, a flash of lightning illuminated the dark sky. It broke the tension for just a moment, revealing monstrous silhouettes lurking in the distance. A herd of shadows moved in unison, swift and unnatural. Panic surged through Claire. What had she just walked into? Her heart raced as she looked from the cowboy to the oncoming shadows. The locket grew hotter in her hand, and she could sense its power. The cowboy's eyes, now dark pools of mystery, reflected her fear. Would this mysterious gift draw her deeper into the chaos or ultimately lead her to salvation? In that split second, Claire realized she had a choice to make. And whatever she decided would resonate long after the midnight sunset. The cowboy stepped back, giving her one last piercing glance before fading into the shadows. What had he known? What awaited her as she faced the unknown? The night felt alive, and Claire could only wonder what lurked in the darkness ahead. The shadows grew denser as Claire clutched the locket, its warmth pulsing against her palm. The distant screeches, mixed with the rustling of leaves, created a cacophony of chaos that seemed to echo in her very bones. She felt the urge to bolt, to escape the strange cowboy and whatever hunted in the night, but her feet felt firmly rooted to the dirt, the locket anchoring her to an indecipherable fate. The looming silhouette shifted closer, and every instinct in her screamed to run. Just then, a figure emerged, a woman, wild-eyed and frantic, stumbling into the moonlight. She was disheveled, dirt smeared across her face. "Help!" They're coming, she gasped, her voice barely a frantic whisper. Who's coming? Claire managed to call out, the fear choking her throat. The woman glanced over her shoulder, eyes wide with terror. They want our memories. Claire's heart plunged at the horror in that statement. The shadows began to take form, elongating limbs, figures with ghastly expressions, drifting like specters toward them. It was as if they were tethered to the earth by lost moments and shattered dreams. Take it. The woman pointed, and Claire realized she meant the locket. It's the only thing that can protect you. The urgency snapped Claire to her senses. In that instant, Claire felt the true weight of her decision. The locket thrummed with a degree of sentience, tugging her towards the approaching figures that now moved with unsettling grace. What memories did it hold, and were they worth the risk? In the panic of it all, her resolve began to strengthen. With newfound courage, she stepped toward the woman. I'll help you. Whatever it takes, we'll face this together. The terrified woman looked at her, surprise flickering in her gaze. You'd do that? They won't just take your memories, they'll consume you. The shadows were almost upon them now. They roared, an unearthly sound that clawed at Claire's sanity. The woman grabbed Claire's arm, pulling her closer. You're light. They fear it. But you must trust the locket. It's a key to your strength. Heart pounding, Claire raised the locket high, feeling its heat spread to her fingertips. The shadows hesitated, swirling around them, as if they were being challenged. She could see their faces clearer now, ghostly visages twisted in desperation, yearning for what they could no longer possess. Use it! The woman screamed, shaking Claire from her daze. You are its bearer now. With one deep breath, Claire steeled herself and opened the locket. A blinding light burst forth, a brilliant explosion that consumed the night, momentarily pushing back the shadows. She felt memories flooding into her, vivid and painful, moments of her life flashing before her eyes, childhood laughter, heartbreak, even joy. But now, imbued with power. She turned to the woman, who watched in awe, and together they began to confront the encroaching darkness. As light clashed against shadow, a roiling battle erupted around them. Claire could feel the weight of her experiences giving her strength, but as the shadows recoiled, Claire realized something horrifying. The memories she had summoned were slipping away, as if drained by the very creatures she fought. Hold on! The woman shouted, brandishing her own makeshift weapon against the shadows. We're almost there. But just when Claire thought victory was near, the shadows twisted in an unexpected frenzy, surging forward like a wave. Panic shot through her. They were not just after her memories, but her very essence. Faced with an overwhelming surge, Claire fought against the tide, feeling the warmth from the locket flicker. She had so much to lose, but would she give up, or was there a way to outwit the darkness? Claire's thoughts raced. She had to decide quickly. How far would she go to protect herself and the woman fighting by her side? With a sharp inhale, she searched within herself for courage, ready to unleash the ultimate, risky gamble. Would it cost Claire everything, or could it save them both? The answer loomed in the darkness as the battle reached its peak. The moment the light burst from the locket, Claire felt an electric surge course through her veins. It was exhilarating, yet terrifying. Every heartbeat thundered in her ears, echoing the wild chaos that surrounded them. The shadows, momentarily blinded by the brilliance, recoiled just enough for Claire to catch her breath. Keep pushing, the woman urged, her fierce determination lighting a fire in Claire's gut. But even with the locket's glow, the shadows slithered back, reforming themselves into grotesque shapes. Their hungry whispers slithered through the air, promises of despair and loss intertwining with the brush of cold mist against her skin. Where do they come from? Claire gasped, trying to absorb the woman's courage. They are born from the memories that are forgotten, the woman shouted, swinging her weapon, a twisted branch at the nearest shadow. They feed on the lost hopes and dreams. You have to hold on to your memories. Don't let them take what makes you you. As if the shadows sensed Claire's wavering resolve, they lunged forward with renewed fury, grasping at the light with desperate, claw-like hands. Claire felt a deep-rooted fear tightening in her chest. What if she could not hold on? What if she, too, fell victim to the black abyss? Remember, the woman shrieked. Your happiest memories. Bring them forward. Clara's mind raced. She took stock of her life, her mother's laughter echoing through the halls, her first dance under the stars, the warm embrace of a friend when all felt lost. They flooded back in vivid splashes, feeding her courage, each moment reinforcing the light. The locket worked as a conduit, amplifying the warmth of her spirit, sending ripples through the darkness. But the shadows grew angrier, writhing with fury, their wails an unsettling melody. We will feast on your pain. They screamed, voices intertwining in a haunting chorus that rattled her bones. Focus, Claire. The woman's voice cut through the noise. You are more than your pain. You are your joy. You carry light. That call to action forged something deep within Claire. She thought about the people she loved, the experiences that made her laugh, made her cry, and now, made her fight. She squeezed the locket tightly, pouring every fiber of her being into the light radiating from it. Let them feel the weight of our memories. Claire shouted, rallying against the tide of shadows. She swung her arm, the locket glowing fiercely, heralding each hopeful memory as it pushed the darkness back. The shadows shrieked in agony, twisting and tearing at themselves as they struggled against the power of Claire's memories. The light deepened, filling the clearing with a golden hue that ignited the surrounding trees and kissed the terrified woman's face in warmth, but just as the tide seemed to turn, Claire felt a sharp stab in her side. A shadow had slipped past the barrier of light, and its cold grip tightened around her waist, threatening to pull her into the depths. The overwhelming sensation of loss pulled just under her heart, and Claire faltered. Claire! The woman's shout sliced through Clara's panic. You have to believe. You can break free. With every ounce of will, Claire clutched the locket as a blinding flash erupted once more, sending out a ripple that embraced the darkness and illuminated the very essence of her soul. Memories surged within her like an unstoppable tide. She was not just fighting for herself, she was fighting for all that could be lost, for every spark of light clinging to hope in a world shrouded in fear. Join me! She cried, turning to the woman, who was now raising her own makeshift weapon high. Together! Their power combined formed a brilliant shield, pushing back against the shadow that gripped Claire, but the hesitation flickered between them, a loaded question hanging in the air. Was it enough? The shadows lurched, sensing their struggle, and a dreadful howl resounded through the darkness. In that moment, everything hung in suspension. Would Claire's newfound strength shatter the chains binding them, or would they both be engulfed in eternal night? The answer lay just beyond their reach, entwined in the unseen depths that watched them waiting ready to strike. Would joy triumph over sorrow, or would this night claim yet another victim? The moment Claire's thoughts ignited with fiery memories, time itself seemed to splinter, stretching the tension thin. The shadows recoiled, howling in protest. It was almost as if they realized how formidable she had become, fueled by her memories, and that realization came with a desperate ferocity. Don't stop, Claire! The woman's voice resonated, a lifeline anchored in a storm. Don't let their fear in. You are more than just light. You are hope. Claire forced herself to focus, tearing her gaze away from the malevolent shapes that surged like darkness-eating vipers. The locket's glow pulsed, a heartbeat resonating with the strength she barely recognized in herself, but then, in the chaos, she felt another presence, one unfamiliar yet powerfully magnetic. It was icy, like the breath of the dead, creeping under her skin. What was this? A new fear clawing its way into her mind? She couldn't shake it off. As the shadows wrenched her thoughts like a vice, Claire's memories flared up, shadows of laughter and warmth a steadying force, but the unknown presence still lurked, whispering promises of despair. Focus on the woman. Focus on us. Her own desperation echoed in her heart. Sinking into her sense of purpose, she clutched the locket harder, pushing back against the encroaching void. The shadows, sensing the shift, writhed and snarled as if they understood the stakes. Still, the grip around her waist tightened. Darkness crept into her chest with icy fingers, threatening to extinguish the light burning fiercely within her. Claire felt her breath quickening, panic rising like bile in her throat. No! I won't let you take me. She managed to utter, but it barely broke the malevolent hum surrounding her. The moment she shrieked, the world fractured. A jagged crack shot through the clearing, light spilling forth like molten gold breaking through dark clouds. Clara's heart thundered as she battled the engulfing darkness. Together! The woman roared, her branch flashing in the golden light. Pour everything you have into it. Claire nodded, her determination forging into a blazing fire. But right then, just when she thought they could sustain the light, a new volley of shadows surged from the ground beneath. They coiled around the woman's legs, thrumming with energy, tugging at her resolve. No! Claire screamed, a fresh wave of despair flooding through her. Would she lose the only ally she had found in this wretched night? The shadows cackled, their laughter cutting through the air like broken glass. She will be lost, just like all your memories. Claire's heart ached at their words, dark and corrosive. Could it be true? Was all of this really a futile struggle against the inevitable? But then, from the depths of despair, an idea sparked a realization nestled neatly in the storm of chaos. All those memories she had summoned were not just hers, they represented everyone she loved, everyone who had stood by her and filled her life with light. She was not alone. Think for them! She roared, voice hoarse and raw. They matter. Our stories matter. Light flared back to life, pulsing like a heartbeat, surrounding her like a cocoon. The shadows hissed and recoiled, perhaps sensing the change of tide or maybe just reveling in the chaos they brought forth, but just as Claire felt the exhilaration of empowerment, something cold and sharp pierced through the radiant barrier, forging a painful connection to some deeper truth. It whipped past her consciousness like a rogue wave, nudging her dizzying thoughts. Remember what you've lost. What you refused to acknowledge. The whispers turned into a chorus, taunting, echoing hidden truths Claire had too long buried. Gasping, Claire's mind raced. This twist was different. The shadows were coming for more than just her memories. They sought to unveil the very essence of her being, those memories she was scared to face. As the shadows tightened around her, shrouded in dark promises, Claire trembled on the brink of realization. What if they were right? What if the shadows had come not just to steal her joy, but to summon her deepest regrets? Claire! The woman's desperate voice cut through the haze once more, and Claire felt the pull of the locket against her heart. What would she allow her past to dictate now? The battle for her soul had taken a sudden, cruel turn. One that left her breathless in its implications, threatening to unravel everything she knew. And the charged silence, clarity surged together with dread. Did she possess enough strength to pierce through the darkness and reclaim what was hers? Could the truth be her greatest weapon, or would it become her undoing? The shadows writhed, stronger than before, but Claire felt the wheels of fate turning. Desperation filled the air around her, heavy and raw. And within that crushing weight, a chilling question loomed larger than ever. What part of herself was she willing to sacrifice to survive this night? The shadows closed in, their icy tendrils wrapping tightly around Claire. She gasped, the cold seeping deeper into her core, making it hard to breathe. I won't let you win, she shouted, though doubt gnawed at her determination. The woman's voice was a lifeline, pulling her from the brink. Remember who you are. The woman urged, her eyes ablaze with conviction. Each word struck Claire like a hammer against the shackles of despair anchoring her down, but the presence within the shadows whispered, a haunting melody that wound its way through Claire's mind. It layered over her thoughts, each note sharpening her fears. What do you truly remember? It taunted. What have you lost? What will you never get back? A panicked breath tore from her throat. She felt it then, the raw fragility of lost moments of hand-holding at the park, laughter echoing in long-forgotten hallways, the warmth of shared glances. Visions danced before her like mirages, tantalizing yet agonizing. And with each memory, the shadows surged forward hungrily. She could feel the tremors of regret shifting beneath her skin. Her heart raced as memories of grief swirled, of those she had lost, their faces flickering like dying stars. Clara's grip on the locket tightened as she fought the impending tide. But those memories weren't just losses, they were pieces of the hope she needed to channel. Fight for them. Fight for yourself. She gasped, summoning the strength to dispel the cold that consumed her spirit. Every ounce of love she had ever received flickered in her mind, illuminating the darkness around her. The shadows shrieked in protest, a chorus of anguished wails as Claire's resolve pulsed bright and unwavering. She felt like a beacon, swallowing the dark tide that had threatened to drown her. I am my memories. She shouted, feeling the truth weave through her very essence. I am not just what I've lost, but who I choose to be. Emboldened, Claire summoned everything the locket represented, every whisper of laughter, every promise made, the joy of knowing love was more than loss. Light erupted from her like a supernova, a vast expanse of radiance that dispelled the shadows with a furious brilliance. The icy grip around her waist snapped like a frayed rope, and the shadows hissed, retreating in fear, but the icy presence still there, lurking in the periphery, was not so easily banished. It beckoned to her, wrapping her in visions twisted with sorrow and longing. Claire, concentrate. The woman's voice sliced through her reverie, grounding her. We need to push back, together. With that, a ripple of clarity surged through Claire. She focused, listening to the woman's steady call. It resonated with a truth she could feel deep in her bones. If the shadows wanted her to face her regrets, she would do just that, but on her terms. As she pushed the light forward, something untangled deep inside, memories rising to the surface like bubbles in a boiling pot. She let the warmth of each cherished memory wash over her once again. For you all. She shouted, sending the light spiraling outwards. The shadows recoiled violently, their howls blending with desperate whispers. You can't escape the truth forever. But Claire knew she could face that truth. She was coming to terms with it, a revelation that ignited a surge within her. Even the darkest shadows had no dominion over her heart, yet as the radiant pulse enveloped her, a sudden chill settled in the air. Claire felt a surge of unease prickling at her skin. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, wrapping around her thoughts like a well-worn cloak. Face us, Claire. You cannot ignore the past. What would the shadows reveal? Claire teetered on the edge of confrontations that stayed buried too long. Could she truly face the darkness without succumbing to it? The heartbeat of the night echoed in her ears, and Claire knew that the real battle was yet to come. Would she unlock the secrets held tightly in the shadows, or would she let them chain her forever? As the glow pulsed brightly, the shadows' laughter deepened, a nightmarish symphony promising an unimaginable truth, and as Claire prepared for the depths of her past to rise, the weight of one final question hung in the air. What if facing those hidden memories could either liberate her or bind her in ways she couldn't imagine? The moment swirled with tension as Claire clenched her eyes shut, the shadows encircling her like a tightening noose. She could feel the air thickening, every breath a struggle against the impending darkness. It pressed down on her, whispering secrets meant to ensnare her, the truth, a seemingly impossible weight. Claire. The woman's voice resonated again, wrapping around Claire like a cocoon of warmth. You can choose what to remember, what to feel. With shaky resolve, Claire opened her eyes, initiating a flickering confrontation with those haunting memories. They streamed forth like specters, their faces twisted in pain and longing. There was her mother, eyes shining with love one moment, but fading into confusion the next, as if she was watching Claire drift away. There was laughter too, a boy she once loved, promises of forever that he had broken. Heart racing, Claire shrieked, no. Not this. But the memories clawed at her, each bittersweet essence worming its way into her core. It felt like drowning in a torrent of undisguised emotions, each wave crashing and pulling her under. Remember the joy, Claire. The happiness that built you. The woman's insistence ignited a flicker of defiance within her. Claire pictured sunny afternoons in the park, the warmth of summer. She recalled moments filled with laughter and warmth, savored hugs, the infectious thrill of adventure. Slow and steady, she began to weave those memories together, creating a tapestry of colors that fought against the grays overpowering her now. In that instant, something shifted. She could almost visualize the boundaries within herself, separating light from dark. I control this. She shouted fiercely, determination coursing through her like electricity. The shadows screeched in agony, recoiling with every joyous memory she summoned. But the chilling grasp of doubt surged forth anew, relentless in its assault. These are illusions, Claire. Nothing but illusions. You remember how it ended, images twisted like smoke, her past threatening to overwhelm her sense of self, pushing her backward. Tears stung Claire's eyes, but she resisted. No. I won't let you steal my power, she cried, holding the locket tightly, grounding herself in its warmth. In that moment of resistance, the woman stepped forward, her presence radiant. You are never alone. Your memories are your strength. With each heartbeat, Claire let the light loose, further bursts of golden warmth radiating around her, peeling back the cold. She felt something shift inside, the knots of longing untangled. Liberating her from fear, they connected deep within her heart, but even as she fought, the shadows lashed out brutally. "You think you can escape?" they hissed, their laughter now manic and desperate, reverberating through the depths of her mind. "We are a part of you." The pressure inside her head throbbed like a drum, drowning out the woman's voice. "What does it mean if I can't escape?" Claire's thoughts spiraled, doubt creeping back into her resolve. With a fierce growl, Claire aimed the light at the shadows, sparkling like a comet streaking across the pitch-black void. "You will not define me!" she roared, pushing it forward. The shadows recoiled, screeching as they shimmered, distorting and flickering, their forms twisting like wilted leaves in an autumn breeze. But just as it seemed Claire had turned the tide, the edge of her vision caught something. A figure emerged in the distance, a dense, dark silhouette that loomed unseen but deeply felt. A cold wave of dread washed over Claire. Was it another shadow? Who is that?" she stammered, her voice betraying the sudden uncertainty that clawed at her gut. The air vibrated with tension, drawing her attention beyond the swirling darkness. Shadows pulsed, and in that breath of uncertainty, Claire understood, the final secrets were still buried, waiting. The night was not done with its horrors yet. As the figure stepped closer, Claire's heart thundered, filled with the instinctive knowledge that whatever lay ahead would force her to confront not just her memories, but herself in ways she had never imagined. Who, or what am I about to see? The question lingered as silence engulfed the scene, the shadows lingering like a heavy fog, whispering truths that refused to be ignored. The figure continued to approach, growing clearer with every heartbeat. Claire's breath quickened, and the shadows recoiled further, as if sensing the power of this mysterious presence. Heart-pounding, she strained to discern its features, the dread wrapping around her throat, tightening like a noose. "Claire," the woman's voice broke through the ominous atmosphere, softer now but still strong. "You must face it. The truth awaits you there." But how could it be the truth? A part of her yearned to bolt, while another part, the resilient flicker ignited by the woman's encouragement, kept her rooted in place, as if the ground beneath her was woven from her own memories. The silhouette coalesced into form, a tall man with a rugged face shadowed beneath a broad-brimmed hat. His eyes, dark and piercing, buried secrets deep within their depths. He stopped a few feet away, allowing the swirling shadows to paint him partially in light and dark, a living paradox. "Who are you?" Claire croaked, the question trembling on her lips. "Does it matter?" he replied, a raspy voice thick with untold emotions. "What matters is who you choose to be, Claire." Her heart raced at his words, spinning in her mind. She felt an odd connection to him, as if he bore the weight of her own fragmented past. "A choice?" she echoed, moments of past mistakes dancing on the edge of her awareness. "I'm lost." "How can you understand?" "I understand more than you know," he said, stepping closer, carrying a weight of despair that seeped into the air. "Each shadow holds reserves of pain, but they also guard precious truths. Look beyond what you fear." Guided by an unseen force, Claire took a step forward, asserting her power. "Show me," she demanded, unwilling to shy away. In an instant, the shadows rippled, revealing images behind them. Faces flashed: her mother, the boy who betrayed her, but also moments of kind laughter and shared secrets. The man gestured towards the swirling chaos. "Face them. Own them. They are threads of your existence." With each breath, Claire pushed forward, struggling against the tide of memories that crashed around her. She could see the pain. She could see the love. A tightness wrapped around her chest, yet deep within, a small spark of hope flickered, urging her on. "Embrace what made you," the man encouraged. "Every wound has heirlooms. Every scar a story." Suddenly, another memory emerged, stark and vivid: her mother at her bedside, tears glistening with sorrow. The weight of unconditional love mixed with loss surged within Claire. She staggered back, staring at the man. "Why show me this? You must learn that strength is birthed from acceptance. Each part of your past has shaped you," he explained, the shadows swirling about him, merging fate and history. "Acceptance," she whispered, testing the word on her lips. "But where does it lead?" The man reached out, a connection forming between them, a wave of understanding. Into yourself. Into the power of choice. Clara's heart surged with a newfound clarity. But before she could respond, a terrible screech echoed, the shadows screeching in fury, twisting violently around her. The darkness loomed larger, desperate to drown her in doubt. "Claire, fight!" The woman shouted, a spotlight of encouragement piercing through the chaos. As the shadows seethed and writhed, Claire closed her eyes, drawing deep within. Memories and emotions flooded her senses, merging until they was a roaring fire. "You don't define me!" She shouted into the void, igniting her power, but just as the light began to break through, a deafening rumble echoed from the depths of the darkness, and the man's expression flickered with alarm. "The past guards its secrets closely. You must choose wisely." Again, Claire was faced with a choice, a decision that would alter everything. What lay ahead would reveal a truth about herself she might not be ready to face. What if the shadows were stronger than she ever imagined? The tension thickened, pushing her closer to a precipice that would change her fate forever. With a gasp, she opened her eyes wide, and she was met with a sight that froze her in terror. What emerged from the shadows was something terrifyingly familiar. "Who am I about to become?" she whispered, barely able to utter the thought. The air crackled with a strange energy, and Clara's heart raced as she recognized the figure stepping from the swirling shadows. It was her own face, twisted in pain and anger, but hauntingly distant. The specter of her past stared back at her with hollow eyes filled with unshed tears, a tortured mirror of the person she had been. "Is that me?" Claire gasped, the words scraping at her throat like brittle glass. The shadowy double nodded, a grim acceptance merging with its own despair. "Yes," it said, the voice echoing with bitterness. "The you that has been left behind, the you that made choices you regret." Clara's breath hitched as she tried to avert her gaze, but it drew her in like a moth to a flame. She struggled against the pull, her instinct screaming that she didn't want to confront such darkness. Behind her, the man kept a watchful eye, urging her forward with a tilt of his head. "Face her, Claire. Only when you confront your past can you step into your future." "A future?" she echoed, her mind swirling with doubts. "I'm scared. The past wasn't kind to me." The echo of her other self stepped closer, pain radiating from her like heat waves. "You don't even know what you've lost," it spat, its voice laced with accusation. "You think you can just erase everything?" "No!" Claire shouted back, feeling emboldened. "I didn't erase anything. I tried to move on." "Did you?" The shadow's voice dripped with mockery. "You wear a mask, Claire. You hide behind false smiles, pretending everything is okay. But deep down, you know the truth. You are a coward." The sting of those words dug deep. Coward. A single soft sob escaped her lips, but she refused to yield. Clenching her fists, she pushed her shoulders back. "I'm not a coward. I'm here. I'm fighting for myself." "Then show me," the shadow hissed, its features distorting in anger. "Show me you're not afraid to confront what you truly are." Determination swelled in Claire. She closed her eyes, letting the emotions surge like a tide. There were flashes of raw pain, of love lost, of battles fought for a peace that never seemed to come. But there were glimmers of hope too, fragile and sweet. Her mother's smile, her small victories over everyday challenges, the laughter shared with friends. "Every scar is proof that I survived," Claire declared fiercely, her voice echoing in the hollow space. "You don't hold power over me anymore. I refuse to let you define who I am." With those words, something in the shadows shifted. The dark form faltered, flickering like a faulty light bulb, revealing a face that looked terrified. It was no longer a figure of rage but one of desperation. The man stepped forward, his eyes locking onto the shadow's twisted visage. "It's time for your judgment, Claire. Embrace who you are now, and let go of who you were, a choice that even your shadow can't take from you." Claire felt a pulse of energy course through her. The colors around her brightened, engulfing the shadow in a radiant light. The tension surrounding her was almost unbearable, but she held her ground, feeding off the warmth growing within her. "Choose who you want to be, Claire. The woman shouted from the edge of her consciousness, her voice now a siren call guiding her through the tempest. Suddenly, the shadow screeched, its form twisting and writhing like it was trapped in a hurricane. "You'll regret this. You'll never escape me." With newfound resolve, Claire took a step forward, her heart pounding in rhythm with the chaos. "I'm not running anymore," she shouted. "You can scream all you want, but you don't own me." And then, just as the light from her heart began to consume the last of the darkness, she heard a strange crackling sound, a shattering crystal echo that resonated deeply within her. Everything stilled for a heartbeat, and then she sensed another shift, another presence emerging from the fluttering shadows, something more ominous, much darker than before. "Who dares defy the past?" A timbre rich with authority boomed, silencing the chamber and sending tremors through her body. Clara's heart sank. What now? Awaited her from the depths of the darkness? The question loomed heavy in the air, leaving her teetering on the edge of an unfathomable abyss. Clara's pulse hammered in her ears, drowning out everything but the ominous voice that echoed around her. As the shadows settled, the air grew dense, suffocating as an unseen entity demanded her attention. She could almost feel its cold breath on her skin, a shiver running through her body. "What do you want?" She managed to croak, the words barely breaking free from the knot of fear tightening in her throat. "I want what was denied," the shadowy figure replied, stepping out of the murk. A man emerged, his features sharp and clear yet wrapped in a haze that shifted like smoke. His eyes burned with an ancient hunger, and his smile held a wicked promise. "You've forgotten, Claire. Forgotten your debts. Forgotten the weight of your choices." "Debts?" Claire echoed, confusion swirling in her mind like a tempest. "What debts?" "It's not about money, my dear," the man said smoothly. "It's about the choices you made, the paths you didn't take, the lives you abandoned. Your past will always find you, and it demands acknowledgement." The room darkened again, and with it, Claire felt the shadows pulling at her, scraping against her skin as if trying to drag her back into the depths. "I've faced my past," she shouted, grounding herself against the flood of emotion pushing against her. "I've fought for my peace." The figure laughed, a low, sinister sound that sent chills coursing down her spine. "Have you? Or do you merely exist in denial? You think you can detach yourself from what you once were? Look around you, this is merely the beginning." Something flickered behind him, like a bruised memory teasing at the corners of her mind. Vision blurred, and she felt the pain resurface. The laughter of old friends, the whispers of her father's advice, the warmth of a lover's embrace, all intertwined with echoes of her failures. "No, I don't want to go back there, but you must," he urged, eyes gleaming. "Face what you buried. Face the consequences." Suddenly, shadows erupted around her, revealing scenes from her life she'd thought she had locked away. Each moment spilled out in vivid hues: her first rejection, the day she turned down a job offer in a city that could have changed everything, her last argument with her mother. A tight knot formed in her chest as tears pricked at her eyes, but she stood firm, defying their weight. "Enough!" Claire cried, raising her hands as if to shield herself. "I won't let you bring me down." "Resistance is futile," the man sneered, the smile still etched on his ghostly face. "What you fear most is not your past, it is the truth buried beneath it. And I'm here to unearth it, whatever that may entail." As the shadows swirled into a cyclone around them, Clara's heartbeat quickened. She felt the tug of her past, a binding thread wrapped around her soul, threatening to pull her back. "No!" she shouted, pushing against the darkness. "I won't let you control me. I know who I am now." "Do you?" he hissed, the shadow snapping to attention as if ready to obey his every command. "Then prove it. Show me your strength. Or risk losing everything you cherish." In that moment, she could see it. Not just the haunting figure before her, but the lives she had touched, the friends who stood by her, the love she still had inside. They were the light she needed to push against the dark. With a fierce scream, she slammed her hands down, channeling the energy surging within her. "I am more than my mistakes. I am not afraid of the truth." As her voice rang through the chaos, the shadows recoiled, and the man's expression faltered for the first time. He seemed to waver, as if the certainty of his power was crumbling. What's happening? He sneered, a rare flicker of doubt creeping into his tone. Your grip is slipping. Claire shouted, rallying against the tide. The barriers of her past were breaking, giving way to the strength she had fought so hard to build. But just as she felt victory within her grasp, the man grinned, a wide, unsettling smile that grew ominously. You may escape me today, but this fight has just begun. You're only invoking a deeper darkness as the darkness flickered and dimmed. Claire's heart raced with uncertainty. She had banished one specter but felt another lurking in the shadows. Whatever awaits, I will be ready, she vowed, heart pounding like a drum, propping her up against the uncertainty ahead, and then, the ground beneath her trembled as a new figure emerged from the depths. A new threat? What awaited Claire as she faced yet another shadow spiraling toward her? The echo of her past echoed through her mind, underscoring the urgency of the stark choices yet to come. Claire's heart pounded in her chest, the tension crackling like static in the air. She faced yet another shadow, its form twisting and shivering as it emerged, darker and more foreboding than the last. The figure loomed before her, a grotesque festival of nightmares, but in the depths of its form, she felt the pulse of familiarity. Remember me, it hissed, voice dripping with derision, as tendrils of shadow curled around her feet. You thought you could escape? The memories flooded back, a torrent she couldn't hold at bay. The shadowed figure morphed into her past failures, the friend she pushed away during a hard time, the path not taken in the city she longed to leave her small town for. Each painful image stirred disquiet in her soul, threatening to engulf her. No! She shouted, but her voice trembled, brushed with uncertainty. You're not real. The figure laughed, a mirthless sound. Real or not, you carry me with you. You deny me, but I remain. You know what you can't face. Claire shook her head, her breath coming in sharp gasps. I won't let you take control. I am not defined by what I lost. But even as she spoke, the past clung tenaciously like a vine around her heart. Face it. Remember what lies at the bottom of that darkness. Can you do that? Enough. The woman's voice pealed through the haze, and Claire felt strength flow into her from an unexpected source. You have the power, Claire. Confront it. Destroy the darkness once and for all. Encouraged, Claire stepped closer to the shadow. You're a part of me, yes, but you do not define me. I have grown. I'm here for myself now. The shadow faltered slightly, a crack in its twisted facade. You fool yourself. You have no true power. But with a scream that rose from deep within, Claire unleashed everything she had ever felt, every blissful moment alongside the weight of painful memories. I am my entire being. You are just a reflection of what I've overcome. The locket erupted in light, weaving memories of strength and joy, each radiant burst pushing back the dark. The figures of family, laughter, love, they confronted the shadow, illuminating the night. No! You cannot escape. It lashed out, but the light grew more potent, a wave of warmth bursting forth as the memories coalesced into a damning shield against the negativity. Tears spilled down Claire's cheeks, but they were tears of release. I choose to remember. I choose to embrace my past. With that declaration, a blinding light enveloped her, drowning out the shadow's screams. The darkness fractured under the onslaught, breaking apart like glass shattering in a storm. In an eruption of light, the shadow dissipated, flaring away into wisps that melted into the night. And as it faded, the air shimmered with a profound silence. Claire felt lighter, unburdened, the sense of victory surged in her chest like a wild stallion breaking free. She turned toward the woman, who watched her with admiration. You did it! You faced yourself. For the first time, Claire truly smiled. No, we did it. Thank you for standing by me. The woman nodded, the shadows around them receding like a bed of fog lifting. But the victory felt larger than the moment, something wrapped in a lingering promise of hope. I'm ready for whatever comes next, Claire said. I'm ready to carry my past without fear. They stood in the clearing, the light surrounding them, an embrace of warmth and resilience, now etched in the very fabric of their souls. As the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, Claire felt the weight of the locket, its warmth a reminder of strength. It's not the end, is it? she asked, glancing toward the horizon waiting for her. No, the woman said softly. It's just the beginning. You will carry this courage forward. The darkest parts may return, but they can only challenge you, they cannot defeat you. With each step away from the clearing, Claire felt the darkness receding behind her, fading into the echoes of a night well fought. As she and the woman walked towards the new day, Claire knew she would not let the darkness define her. She would embrace every memory, the light and the shadows, and carve out her own path. Remember, Claire, the woman said softly, embrace your journey, for it is uniquely your own. And with that, they stepped into the unfolding light of a new dawn, ready to share every moment yet to come. The sun broke the horizon, lighting the path ahead. She was free and more alive than ever. You need to subscribe now. Don't wait even one more second. Smash the like button to show your support. Flood the comments below with your thoughts. What did you think led Claire to her victory? And share this video immediately with 5 friends who need to hear this powerful conclusion. Your interaction fuels this community, so let us ignite the conversation.